But the biggest story, or rather the saddest development, remains the Ahmedabad plane crash which took place yesterday. To discuss more about what went wrong in terms of the systematic failures and all, we are joined in by David Berg, Head of Center for Aerodynamics, Aerospace and Automotive Engineering, University of Surrey. Thank you so much for joining in NDTV Profit. It's a pleasure having you. My first question to you: yesterday, it was rather a big tragedy that we saw with the Air India plane crash. 242 passengers, of which only one lone survivor is there. Want to get your assessment of overall tragedy that we are looking at in terms of the plane crashes. If we just see after a few minutes of takeoff only the plane had crashed. So just want to get your overall assessment on the systematic failure which has taken place.
Well, it's really difficult at this stage to draw any conclusions. Anything that we come up with is going to be speculation. So, and that's inherently dangerous. So, what we do know is that weather was unlikely to be a factor. The meteorological reports at the time were relatively benign. That the aircraft took off, it was not generating enough lift. That's probably down to a lack of thrust. We don't know why that happened. It's unlikely to have been a single engine failure. That aircraft is entirely capable of flying on a single engine, and it's designed to do that. So we just don't know at this stage. We need to wait until more information is available before we can draw any conclusions. That particular aircraft has an excellent safety record. This is the first incident of its kind involving that particular aircraft. So it really is unprecedented.
Just want to get your view now. If you've seen, as you've also pointed out, that overall, if you take this aircraft in particular, it had a pretty good track record in 2011. It's been operational since then. But this brings regulatory scrutiny back to Boeing as well as Air India. Boeing also, there have been regulatory issues before also. Just want to get your overall context in terms of Boeing and Air India as well. What's the picture over here?
Well, again, it really is too early to say, and at this stage it would be entirely speculation. We just don't know what happened, and whether it was related to the aircraft itself, whether it was operational, whether there was some other factor, we just don't know. And again, speculating at this time is probably not a good idea.
Okay, but in terms of your assessment, if it's still early stage and it is speculative, what would be some of the measures, or rather some of those lapses that are seen in the aviation industry, if you can describe more on that?
I'm sorry. So general lapses that we've seen in the past, there have been incidences that have occurred. In order for something like this to happen, many things need to go wrong all at once. There are multiple layers of safety and fail-safes that are implemented in aircraft. So to lose an aircraft like this, you have to have generally a failure in the aircraft, a failure in performance of the systems, and something else as well. At least generally 3 things need to go wrong, and all of those have to align and go wrong at the same time. There has been speculation bouncing around the internet about whether or not the slats and flaps were deployed. If you have a close look at the videos, it's just not clear enough to tell at this point. We can't really point a finger at whether it's the hardware, the crew, or some other systemic failure.
Okay, thank you, David, for joining and sharing that perspective. But